Good evening. I would like to call this meeting of the Public Works Committee of the Common Council to order on Tuesday, December 6th. It is now 7:02. First, we have tonight Lisa Shanahan, Tom Livingston, Brian Meek, Nora Najelski-Eichner, and myself, Barbara Smith. Right now, we are waiting on Darlene Young. Oh, no. Okay. Darlene is not going to make it tonight. So we have that. And so we are waiting on Dominique Johnson. So we'll watch for her to arrive. First, excuse me, first item on the agenda is public input. Is there anyone who is here tonight who would like to speak? Please raise your hand.
We do. I'm going to unmute Diane Lauricello.
Okay, go ahead, Diane.
Yes, hi. Good evening, everyone, on this dreary day. I first wanted to say that I was really impressed and really supportive of the urban forestry grant that I read about for Rudner Court and and beyond. I think it sounds like a terrific program. And if there's any chance that people can help, I'd love to assist, but it's a great idea. The main reason I wanted to speak tonight was something that many of you are probably not surprised that I'm interested in, being in the waste management business and a member of the Recycle CT board. I am not speaking as a member of that statewide board. I'm speaking as an individual tonight, but as a Norwalk citizen. I asked tonight that it wasn't clear to me whether items 9, 10, and 11 are action items for this council to vote on tonight. I ask that you treat this request very carefully because my understanding is we have until June to actually, the current contract is up. Now, of course, we want to make sure things are laid out before June as far as possible. Since even Mr. Igneri was the chairman, I have been begging and requesting various times with some of you and previous chairs and this chair that we take a look at the possibility of putting this important function of our city out to bid. Now, I'm not opposed to extending the contract. I had a very nice conversation with both Vanessa and Chairman Smith, and I thank you for that discussion where I brought to the table some ideas about going forward and recycling better, as well as reducing the waste that all is produced by all of the city, including city agencies and schools, as well as us. However, upon reflection, I thought that it would be very important, that this particular proposal be analyzed by folks that understand the waste management business and the economic part of it. Because it seems to me that although again, I just saw what was available to me online, which is one page. I'm not sure in number 9 for the, is there any minimum tonnage where we have to have as much waste as possible at, in the collection system. In the past, minimums and maximums were part of contracts. And number 10 for the recycling contract, please, especially most of you are new to the council, at least new to when it was first put together in 2004. I was there and I was very disappointed when at the time in the Republican-run council and the mayor at the time decided not to have a bid. So City Carting had enjoyed no bidding on the recycling contract. They enjoyed that, but we did also at the time enjoy $17.50 a ton. We were supposed to be paid for recycling. And I think that while that is a terrific thing, and we're one of the last few towns that have the $17.50 a ton until June, we have not optimized that because we haven't been recycling right. Number 11 is the transfer station. Is there a minimum tonnage guaranteed to Win Waste, in this case, formerly City Carting. And in number 10, is there no maximum tonnage of recycling that we can have in order to save money on the tipping fee? I also am concerned because in the letter it states, it seems that it might be a good idea, but I think, again, we need market analysts here for the commodity revenue sharing. Right now in that letter, it states just mixed paper. I know for a fact that cardboard, cartons like you see in milk cartons, metal, and there are other waste streams where we still have quite a pretty penny that can be received by those that collect those waste streams. Why is this just an example that is being put forth by Win Waste? If it is just for mixed paper, I'll tell you, this is not a good deal for us. And I think we have to go back to the drawing board. Lastly, I just wanted to say, for many, many years, I've been requesting of Ms. Palladino, then Mr. Carr and his predecessors, what is the contamination rate? Because I want to tell you, while 97 a ton is not the best price we could get, it's not up to 100, which it will be the following year. But the thing is, if we have lots of contamination because we are not properly educating people and enforcing the recycling laws, there will be lots of contamination that will be thrown. The recyclables that are contaminated will be tossed in with the MSW and then will be charged 97 a ton. The last thing I just wanted to say is the 750,000 commodity, processing fee seems, I'd love to know, I can't wait to hear what that is, because it doesn't, to me, sound like a good deal for Norwalk. And my understanding is we will no longer be getting $17.50 a ton for our recyclables. And I just want to be clear on it. I don't have a copy more than this one page, so please forgive me if I've misconstrued or if I've gotten some of this incorrectly. But remember, I was part of the group that tried valiantly to get the council to press the pause button, do a little more homework back in 2004. It was quite the show.
Diane, I just want to say we're about past 5 minutes now. So if you could please wrap up, that would be great.
Okay, so I thank you. I ask you to press the pause button, have a little more analysis. I really don't think we should give it more than a year. And I do think we should go to bid ultimately, because there are other companies out there. I do like Win Waste. I've liked City Carting, but I do think that this doesn't sound like a good deal as it's written with the one page I was given access to. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Laricella. Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
No, there is not.
No. Okay. Okay, so seeing not, we will close public input. Also, let the record show that Ms. Johnson joined us at 7:06. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the Public Works Committee meeting of Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. Would someone like to move that, please? Mr. Livingston moves that. Are there any corrections, additions, deletions? Okay, all in favor of the minutes as they are, please raise your hand. Mr. Meek. Okay, all right, that passes.
I just need to abstain, Barbara, because I
excuse
missed the meeting.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I apologize.
As well,
Okay, so we
thank
have
you.
2 abstentions. Okay, Ms. Shanahan and Ms. Najelski Eichner abstain. Okay, sorry, I missed that. Okay, and then moving on to the next item, which is to approve the Public Works Committee meeting dates. You will note that they do still all say video conference, as at this point, we still are not set up for hybrid meetings for our committees. I think we're working on that, but we're not there yet. Would someone like to move that item for me, please? Ms. Najelski Eichner moves the dates. All in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Opposed? You're a yes, right, Brian? Okay. Okay, so that passes. Okay, moving on to the next item, number 3, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all necessary documents for the state of Connecticut Deep Urban Forestry Equity through Capacity Building Grant related to the city of Norwalk's participation in the grant. Who would like to move that? Ms. Shanahan, thank you. Okay, so Vanessa, why don't you just tell us a little bit about this grant? I think that one thing that is, really something to highlight is that this is earmarked for Rudner Court, which is a wonderful thing for the Children's Learning Center.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. So actually, I'll have Mr. Sonic. He's very familiar with the grant and where those trees will be planted. He can give you a brief explanation.
Good evening, everyone, and Chairperson Smith. This is a collaboration between the City of Norwalk's Tree Advisory Committee, the Department of Public Works, the Norwalk Community College, and the Norwalk Housing Authority to do the plantings at Rudner Court. Chairperson Erica Kipp of the Tree Advisory Committee had submitted an application for an urban forestry through capacity building grant to the Urban Forestry Division of the state of Connecticut, DEP, in the amount of $10,000. And that particular grant was funded. We were notified, and it basically, as been previously mentioned, is going to be done at Rudner Court Children's Learning Center, where trees are going to be installed. There'll be a minimum of 20 trees installed along the perimeter or the outside of the children's snack and play area to screen and shield them from roadway noise and emissions. And this will also provide them with a very much needed shade and privacy from the road traffic. As part of the grant, any leftover money, we will be using it to purchase new maintenance-free picnic tables for the children and work with the educational director to offer environmentally friendly based STEM programming. This is going to be something where we will do the plantings through the Olmsted contract, and it will be partially planted so that the group of community people that will be engaged in this from Rudner Court, as well as the other people that I mentioned, can do the final plantings to see how to plant the trees properly. And it's something that would engage the entire community.
Mr. Livingston.
Thank you. Hey, Paul, this is great. A couple of questions for you. I see the total cost of the grant is like $28,000. Where's the rest of the money coming from?
That is basically all of the in-kind services for the volunteer work and that stuff that they calculate as part of the grant and put a value on that, but it's actually only $10,000 in cash.
Gotcha. And just a minor question, and I think the idea of the picnic benches is a nice idea, but looking at the grant application, it's not included in the scope of the work, right? So I assume it's legit, because the scope of the work doesn't mention the tables, it only mentions the trees.
It's something that they can, if there's any money left over, it's something that can be used for that area, for the learning center. So the tables would be something for the children to work on. And Chairperson Kipp had talked about that with DEP, and it was something that was able to be funded. If, like I said, the first money is going toward the trees, and the minimum of 20, it looks like there will be some money left over, and those will be screening trees.
Great, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, that carries unanimously. Well done. That's a great use of funds. Next item on the agenda, authorize the Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute an agreement with Altice USA for the East Avenue Advanced Utility Project number 0301-0515 NP for amount not to exceed $91,000, accounts noted. Would someone like to move that, please? Mr. Livingston, thank you. So this item just did not make it into when we approved all of the items for the underground utilities for the East Avenue project. So this one is just another utility project that is that we just need to approve. Vanessa?
That's correct. So last month we had 3 or 4 that you guys approved in front of So we are responsible for the costs between Fort Point and Olmsted on the East Avenue Underground project. So we didn't had an estimated cost from Altis by the time of last meeting. It came after, so that's why this item is in front of you now. But is the same thing that we have been doing with all the utility companies. Is the cost for them to pull the cables into the underground infrastructure that has been built now. Any questions?
Sorry, I'm trying to keep this cough under control. It's not working so well. Yes, any questions? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, that carries unanimously. Okay, item number 5. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Riley, to execute any and all documents necessary to accept a donation of construction material from the Hatch and Bailey Company. Will someone move that, please? Mr. Livingston, you were the first. Thank you. Yeah, Vanessa, I'm going to go ahead and have you explain. Hatch and Bailey would like to donate some items to the city, and that this is going to follow a process that is being worked out, similar to what Recreation and Parks is working on right now. So Vanessa, you can talk about where that is and how this fits into that.
Sure. So Hatch and Bailey is downsizing, and they have some spare parts like pieces of plywood, some beads, little pieces of tools. So they asked DPW and if we were interested. So we sent the guys there. They put everything in a bin. They're gonna donate that to us. The only thing that they are asking is that we sign a letter just so they can get some tax rebate for donation. Unfortunately, checking with legal, we do not have any mechanism yet to accept donations. It's in the works. Rex and Parks is trying to work up on some model. But just to be on the safe side, we put this item in front of the committee. So if the mayor needs to sign a letter about confirming that we received that and they will get the tax exempt is what we are trying for this item here. So as of now, I think that it's only like $4,500 in that. That's what I got so far that we are receiving from them, with all the little pieces of things that we got it.
Does anyone have any questions or Mr. Meek?
Yeah, why would we give them any assurance that it's tax deductible? That's their problem between them and their accountant. That's not our.
That's correct. We just need to sign that we received, but no one can kind of sign. So
That's fine, sign in a receipt, but we should take no position on tax deductibility for them. That's their problem, not ours.
I agree. And this will be something that legal will deal with.
Thank
you.
Any other questions? Ms. Nadjelski-Eichner.
I just wanted to acknowledge it is very gracious of them to do so. I appreciate the gesture towards the city, particularly as construction costs go up. I'm sure it's nice to have a little bit of extra on hand. So thank you for arranging that, Vanessa and crew.
Everything's going up. Everything. Yeah. Well, thanks for acknowledging that, Nora. All right, any further comments? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed? Abstentions?
Hi, Chair. It's Dominique. I don't know if you got me. I'm an aye.
I can hear you. Okay, gotcha. Okay,
Oh,
thanks,
thank you
Dominique.
so much.
Okay, so that passes unanimously. Okay, moving on to, I'll read items 6A and 6B together. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Riley, to execute an agreement with Waters Construction Company, Inc. for project building 2022-1 paving of Ben Franklin facility parking lot for a sum not to exceed $128,000. Accounts noted. And 6B, authorize the Chief of Operations and Public Works to execute orders on the contract with Waters Construction Company, Inc. for project Building 2022-1 paving of Ben Franklin facility parking lot for a sum not to exceed $12,800. Accounts noted. This is a small project. It is, Vanessa, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
So,
Sorry, I'm so foggy. I apologize.
No, no problem.
Not very fluent tonight.
I'm happy to explain. The building department is responsible for the maintenance of the parking lots on the schools. This is one that they had on their capital budget for a couple of years. They were trying to build up enough funds to do it. They asked engineering to put the bid out. Sometimes we do as part of our paving contract. This time we decided to bid separately before the season starts to make sure that we could get a good price and more bidders, and it worked it out. We were able to get it on budget. And I believe that we have 4 bidders that bid into this small project. It's just the upper parking lot at Ben Franklin. So it should be done in about a week. We gave them a week to do the whole project. We're gonna close that lot, then they can come in, rip it off, and then put it all back.
Any questions?
Just a comment. It's long overdue. Thanks.
So you guys gonna see on the capital now, we are requesting money for the lower. We're doing one now, and then you're gonna see the money that will show up on the capital so we can do the other one.
And Barbara, I'll move the item. Just-
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Any other questions or comments? Okay, I'll take a vote. All in favor, please raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Abstentions? All right, that passes unanimously. That's items 6A and B. All right, moving on to item 7. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all documents related to the first supplemental project authorization letter, PAL, for the Advanced Utility Project State Project number 0301-0515/515 enclosed with this agenda, whereby the city of Norwalk will transfer funds in the amount of $343,118 on July 15th, 2023, and $343,118 on July 1, 2024, to fund the work to pulling cables between Fort Point Street and Olmsted Place. Account numbers noted. Who would like to move that, please? Ms. Nadjelski Eichner, thank you. So this is part of the utility project that is not reimbursable and is being billed through the third taxing district. So again, Vanessa, I'll turn that over to you to explain all the details.
Sure, so it's very similar to what we did with Frontier and now Altis and all that. This one is the portion related to the third taxing district. So again, everything from 4 Point Homestead, we are paying for that cost. There is the only difference why the whole language is different is that because third taxing district, it is a municipal utility. We ask DOT to do the agreement directly with them. So the only thing that we're doing, we're gonna reimburse DOT. So instead of having an agreement between the city and each utility, we are making the state go through that because the state is paying them for also the underground between 4 Point and Winfield. So because they already have that agreement there, we are just pretty much using the same agreement saying, just add to that contract and we're gonna reimburse you with that amount. I also just wanna emphasize that one great thing that we got due to the good relationship that we are having with the program, usually you pay all non-participating fees on a state project in advance in one installment. To help with our cash flow and all the commitments that we have for this project, I was able to ask them to break in 2 parts. And the first payment will only gonna happen in our next fiscal year where extra money is coming in. So I just want to call your attention that instead of being one payment, will be two payments and will be spread as FY 23-24 and FY 24-25.
And Vanessa, I recall you saying that the state has never done this before, and it's
Yeah,
a
this
big deal
is
that they've
one-
agreed to this.
And we got it. We got it when we asked to pay for the whole project because they're building the infrastructure there. We got in three installments. So this is pretty much the continuation. That's why this is a supplemental to that. And they still were able to allow us to pay in 2 installments. So this is really, really good for us.
Are there any questions? Comments? No? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Abstentions? And that carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, moving on to items 8A and B. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with the Grasso Companies LLC for project RD 2022-1 curb and sidewalk at various locations for an amount not to exceed $431,808, account numbers noted. And 8B, authorize the Chief of Operations and Public Works to execute orders on contract with the Grasso Companies LLC for project RD 2022-1 curb and sidewalk at various locations for an amount not to exceed $43,180.80, account numbers noted. Will someone move that, please? Ms. Nadjelski Eichner. Okay, so this is a small area that needs to be paved by late spring, early June. Is that what it was, Vanessa?
Yes, so what we're trying to do here, usually we have a citywide sidewalk project. Due to how the market has been playing, what we decided to do is get these streets bid right now before all the bids start hitting the streets to see if we can get a good price and also attract some of the small companies as well to bid on to make it more competitive. We want to have these sidewalks complete early summer, I would say, so we can, those are one of the first streets that we have in our paving forecast for next year. The streets that we're doing the sidewalk would be Van Tassel Street, Bain, Pine Hill area, with a little bit of Shore Haven, Shorefront, Ridge, Wood and Oak area, and Richards from Bonnybrook to Philo Avenue. So we ended up kind of also, I think, that getting 4 companies that bid on Grassland that are being the lowest bidder on.
Ms. Nadjelski Eichner.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. A couple of questions, Vanessa. So the first question, so I appreciate the thought of trying to, get more bidders and potentially, engage some smaller companies. But nonetheless, Grasso seems to have won out here. Did you get any feedback? Do you have any sense of, why are we not getting bids from smaller companies, or are they not able to compete? I just want to have a sense of the competitiveness of this market, and if there's anything we can do in terms of increasing our support for small businesses.
Sure. So actually now what we did, we start calling them in advance. We asked them to bid, they look at the package. And that's why usually we have been getting only 2 bidders, right? Now
Right.
we're for what is good. To be honest, I think that they come with a price. And it's very hard for them first when they are not very familiarized with the city that they are bidding on, that they do not get the first time. Because they try to be a little bit conservative. They want to try to understand what are the numbers and see what the numbers play. We have another package already on the street. So one of the things that we did with this one is we make 2 small packages. We advertise one. As soon as was the date that they had to submit the bid, we released a second bid. So this way, we want to get them that surprise effect that they didn't know that a second package was going to be out. a second project, is a package, but is a project. And this way, we want them to be extremely competitive on each. What we did after, we called them, the ones that we beat it out on the first one that didn't come as first, and asked them to, if they would be interested in bidding on the second one, and all of them said that they would. So I think that, it's a way of kind of trying to get them, and eventually we're gonna get the right price. At the same time, even the same players now know that they have more competition, so that will force them to really look into their prices as well.
No, terrific. I really appreciate that strategy. I think it makes a lot of sense. So then my second question, and I know this was an issue that came up, I think 2 or 3 years ago before I was on the council, but obviously the South Norwalk School is keeping it kind of alive as an issue that I'm very much thinking about, which is, was a determination made that we would not consider bidders who had open violations or open zoning violations to be a responsible bidder? Was that a decision that was ever made, and how does that play out?
Well, this doesn't apply to this bid at all. I believe that in the past, there were some concerns about the Grasso company, but it doesn't fall into them anymore. They are clear from it. They do not even have any property anymore here.
Okay, but as a general rule, because again, I can save this conversation for our conversation about the carding services. But as a general rule, do we have a policy that responsible bidders do not include those who have zoning violations?
I'll have to double check and get back to you, Nora. I don't know, Tom is.
Yeah, Nora, we did talk about this some years ago. Yeah, I think that they have to certify they're in compliance with the laws. I don't know what the exact language is, but we certainly went to the whole discussion earlier on with Grasso and making sure they were in compliance with everything, and they were. And then they, as Vanessa pointed out, they moved out of the city. So, but generally, it is a requirement. We did discuss it.
Okay, great. Thank you. That was something I was wondering about, so I appreciate the information.
And it's under purchasing also to confirm that, because we put the bid together, they look at everything, and then they tell us, okay, this is really, it qualifies, it meets all the procurement requirements. So it will be under them to confirm that they would be eligible to do it as well. They work very close with me.
Great, thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, I will call for a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? All right, that carries unanimously. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read items 9, 10, and 11 together. They are, 3 separate contracts, but 3 parts of the same thing. So,
Hey, Barbara, I hate to have you.
Yeah.
Barbara, I hate to have you read
Okay.
this with your voice. Do you want me to read it? Or?
Oh, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm not as sick as I sound.
I feel so bad listening to you.
I'm not as sick as I sound. Trust me. Yeah, it is a lot though. Let's see how I am by the end of it. All right, item 9, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an amendment to the agreement with Wind Waste Innovations Holdings, former City Carding Inc., for a citywide municipal solid waste collection dated September 28th, 2012, in order to extend the term of the agreement through June 30th, 2024, with an option to extend 1 more year based on the terms and fee schedule set out in the attached proposal dated December 1, 2022. The fee for July 1, 2023 to June 30th, 2024 will be $2,115,000. And from July 1, 2024 to June 30, 2024, the fee will be $2,220,750. Account noted. Item number 10, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute a 4th amendment to the agreement with Wind Waste Innovations Holdings, former City Carding Inc., for curbside recycling collection services dated June 30, 2004, in order to extend the term of the agreement through June 30th, 2024, with an option to extend an extra year based on the terms and fee schedule set out in the attached proposal dated December 1, 2022. The fee for July 1, 2023 to June 30th, 2024 will be $1,497,600. And from July 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025, the fee will be $1,572,480. An additional commodity processing fee of $750,000 will be added to each annual base fee and is subject to the available incentives based on the commodity revenue share, 80% City of Norwalk, 20% wind waste. Account noted. Item 11, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute a fourth amendment to the service agreement with Wind Waste Innovation Holdings, former City Carting, Inc., for transfer station operation, transport, and disposal services for municipal solid waste dated August 4th, 2008, and in order to extend the term of the agreement through June 30th, 2024, with an option to extend an extra year based on the terms and fee schedule set out in the attached proposal dated December 1, 2022. The transfer station operations fee for July 1, 2023 to June 30, 2024 will be $876,000 and transport and disposal fee of $97 per ton. The fee from July 1 to 2024 to June 30th, 2025 will be $919,800 and transfer and disposal fee of $101.85 per ton. Account number noted. Who would like to move those items? Mr. Livingston, thank you. Okay, so, this is obviously the big discussion item tonight. It's, we've been talking about this for some time. I think, I just want to make a couple comments before I turn it over to Vanessa to discuss, where we're at and, how we came to be looking at this extension. I do just want to say that, the city has been, and we have been talking about, we've talked about it publicly most recently, considering citywide garbage pickup. That would require some extensive studies before any kind of decision would be made. And we want to allow the time in order to do that. And so by extending this contract by a year or possibly two, with this option for a second year, that does give us the time to do that. So I just wanted to make that comment. And I know there's a lot of other things, some details that Vanessa has to share with us. So Vanessa, I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Thank you. I'm also here with Chris Torr. So if you guys have any questions to the detail of preparation, he can definitely add on. So Chris, please feel free to jump in. So again, we do believe, and we agree with Mrs. Laura Cella, there is now a great opportunity if we rebid this contract to rethink on how we're going to deal with the garbage collection throughout the town. What we can do to be much more sustainable, what really is going to go into recycle, how we can maybe add the food compost into it, how we can probably teach our residents to produce less garbage. So there is a lot that can go into this. Besides that is, where are the areas that will be picked up? Are we going to consider expanding citywide? Are we just going to keep as this? So to be very honest, I think there is a lot of questions that can be answered, and there will be a lot of discussions, and we should hear the residents, the common council, the administration, the contractors, the best way, what is the market doing now? And to be honest, I don't think that we have enough time to answer these questions and still prepare a bid that will be successfully bid and have a company starting as July 1st. So after internally conversation here, we decided to approach City Carting, now it's Wind, and ask them if they had any interest in give us a 1-year extension to this contract with an option to extend a second year. And if they did that, what would be the best fee that they could give it to us? Another thing that we want to point it out is that, let's say that we do not increase this, we do not extend this contract. That's why the reason that we were asking in the beginning, why we're coming in front of you so early. Because if this do not move forward, we're still going to need to have a bid. As of July 1st, we do not have a contract. So we still need to have time to, in case we need to prepare a bid. The bid will be exactly as is. We will not gonna have enough time to change the scope. So we're probably gonna be locked in the same way that we are doing for the next 5 or 10 years. But one of the concerns that we have is that even if another company wins that bid, we doubted that they will have the fleet that we needed for the garbage pickup. We understand that there has been a lot of issues with truck production, and we don't think that any other company will be able to get a project or a contract as big as Norwalk and be able to provide enough trucks as of July 1st. So considering that is why we decided to give ourselves a little more time, go for an extension. And then during this extension, I promise you that my job after we get this extension approved will be to engage a consultant. We're gonna have an RFP out, get someone on board and look on a very big picture of what we can do better for the whole garbage collection for the city of Norwalk. I think there is a lot of things that we need to take in consideration. We do, unfortunately, a very old-fashioned way of collecting the garbage. That is one truck with 2 laborers in the back. This is extremely expensive nowadays, and there are now other ways of doing it. So again, I'm open to a lot of discussion. I want to hear what the public wants and what is the most economic way of improving our system. And I need time to get there. So that's why I'm proposing an extension. And the reason why it's coming so early is that, just so give you guys a little bit of a sense of time, if this gets approved, the earliest that will get approved would be mid-December. By the time that this goes to legal and we have a contract, that contract will only be signed in February if everything goes okay, because we still need the legal from both parts to agree on the agreement language. So from February to June is really not much time that we have. So that's why I just want to make sure that I don't want to have any surprises in May and realize that everybody has no garbage being picked up as July 1st. So that's the reason to be so early. So now I'm going to go through the numbers to help you understand. This is all the information also that we had, but it is enough to go through what we need. So the first item, that is 9, it only takes care of we have 3 contracts, okay? So it's the municipal solid waste collection. So let's focus on that one. That one, we are actually seeing an increase in the number compared to what we have now. And the reason for that is based on 3 things. First is, as I just mentioned, that is where we have the 2 laborers in the back. So the labor fees got extremely high, and the insurance to have 2 men right in the back of the truck has been also very high in the past few years. And of course, fuel has been also another thing that add. According to our contractor, they have losing money in this contract since 2018. They have been pushing us to really rethink on maybe go to an automated truck service so that then they can rework the fees and make it better. Some other municipalities are moving to that. So now you guys are gonna ask me why we're not doing that now. We cannot change. We need a different truck. We need that truck that has the side lift to be able to pick up the garbage. We are not able to, the contractor will not gonna be able to replace the fleet now. So that's why, unfortunately, we cannot change the way that we're gonna collect the solid waste. And that's why that fee is pretty much just to reflect that increase on labor, operations, and pretty much insurance. So that's why it will be $2,115,000 for the proposed year. I'm gonna move to the item 10 about the fees, but I'm happy to go back if you guys have any questions, or you prefer that we answer questions per item.
Does anyone have any questions at this time, or you just want to wade through? Okay, go ahead, Vanessa.
So the second one, it is the recycling collection service. That one, that's the part that I guess changed a little bit from what we have. And Mrs. Loricello was correct at the beginning. What happened now is that, as you guys know, we do not, as of today, we receive a flat fee back based on the recycling that we get. Unfortunately, there is no more market for recycling. With Asia not buying recycles or buying much less than they did, there is really no more of the revenue coming. So that's why we had to restructure the way that we are doing this contract. So what will happen is that we have now a fee for the collection, and we're gonna have a flat fee for the disposal of it. So we're not paying per ton, we're paying a flat fee of $750,000, but there will be a revenue based on the market, on how much can be sold. So what will happen is that 750 will be added to the contract, and then it will be deducted the incentives that we're going to receive. Those incentives, we check with the town of Greenwich, they have exactly the same contract. As of now, they are able to get between $20,000 to $30,000 a month. I just want to point out that 30,000 was closer to about beginning of the year when the market of recycling commodities was still a little bit high. It has been dropping a little bit. So they are more closer to the 25-ish now. So that's why I'm saying between 20 and 30. It seems that Asia is considering again buying recycling, and we believe that that number may jump up again by the time that we have this extension. But just to be on the safe side, let's just consider that will be about between $20,000 to $30,000. Again, at the same time that the Asia market is not working well internally, nationally, they are finding other options for the recycle. So maybe in the future, that revenue is still going to come from other sources besides how the Asian market will be doing. So that $750,000 means that we are not going to end up paying anymore as we were paying before for the disposal of the recycle. The 750 includes all that already. The item 11, that is our third contract. That is the one for the transfer station, the operations, and the disposal. There are good news. That fee it's lower now, so at least we got something. So instead of getting a raise with the third compactor that we added to the transfer station, we asked City Carding to see if we told them we invest there, probably we can be a little more efficient, see if you can save us a few dollars, and they did. So instead of getting a raise, we ended up getting a fee that will be lower. And the other thing that we're going to be paying is just the disposal per ton of the solid waste. And that is pretty much kind of average of what has been paid with no major changes on that. It's just that regular 3-5% increase a year. So this is how the three contracts were break up. I'm happy to answer more questions related to it, me and Chris. I don't know, Chris, if you want to add anything else?
Just to echo, to get the stakeholders involved in the process, as Diane Lauricella pointed out. And also, there's some ordinances that we need to change moving forward. Like for example, a condominium. What's a condominium? 4 units, 6 units, 8 units. What do condominiums do? They don't have compactors and they need city services. There's a lot of things, citywide, commercial collection. A lot of municipalities don't do commercial garbage. We do. So those are some things that we need to talk about and not rush into it and take into account, and maybe have some roundtable discussions with all of the stakeholders that know a little more than us to have that conversation. So we implore you guys to work with us and help us help the city.
Mr. Livingston.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Vanessa, for the really detailed explanation. I think, the one takeaway, the big takeaway I hear, Vanessa, from you and from Chris, is as you're looking at the coming year, we really need to focus on reducing the amount of garbage generated by the city and its residents. So I know you guys are looking to hire what I'm calling the garbage czar. But I hope that part of that job will be to look into these things, that garbage czar's job, to look into how we can reduce our overall garbage footprint, if you will. And I know, Vanessa, you'd mentioned automated garbage can, the pickups, that would be one garbage can perhaps per household. But I know there are ways of looking at this, but I think that's got to be like a top job. So anyway, but thank you for looking at this, all really important.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. I found myself thinking the same thing. Ms. Shanahan.
I just wanted to follow up with one of the questions that Diane had, which I wanted to understand a little bit more. She talked a lot about contamination of recyclables and whatnot. Is that a risk? Is that something that would reduce the revenue you're talking about? What kind of public outreach do we have to involve to talk about that?
It used to be, and I'm not sure if it still was, but it was 5% contamination of the commodities going to Asia from our recycling. And then we, as a society, our country was not cleaning out food. Anything with food is not recyclable. Styrofoam is not recyclable. Plastic bags are no longer recyclable. So like, that's a thing that we as a society need to talk about, because that stuff is still going into the sound and killing the fish. So, but that's a bigger conversation than this conversation for sure.
One thing that we definitely want to do, regardless of if the contract gets extended or bid, is really, and we first need to try to fill the position that, of course, we're trying to find the right person. That's why that position is not filled yet. But meanwhile, we are trying to look at other options and what is other cities and towns doing. So for instance, this week, I asked that how we can, I know that sometimes now are separating their glass recycle. So we're gonna contact someone, and we're gonna have a meeting with them, because I want to understand what is the gain of having a separate bin just for the glass. What do we gain on that? So maybe that will be a positive thing that even will not only will be more sustainable, but also will affect maybe when it get mixed with the solid waste that we are paying $97 a ton to be disposed. So again, we're trying, again, I'm new to this position, so I wanna be able to come here and tell you, I really think that this is the best way that we should move forward for the next 10 years with the garbage. And that's why I'm asking some time and to try to make it right. But meanwhile, our commitment is that we're gonna continue looking for all the options and try to be on top of our toes to really understand what is going on and how we can.
One of the other things too that I'd like to point out is Greenwich they were receiving the same revenue for the recycling, and they did open up their contract and rebid it with Win Waste. And not on an extension, they rebid their contract on a commodity sharing program, which is outlined here a year early. And, so if you're wondering we've been checking on this for a long time, and we've been working at it, and this is what we came up with, and we're hoping that you guys can support us.
Thank you, Chris. Ms. Najelski Eichner.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. And thank you both. I have to admit my initial reaction when I saw the item was somewhat skeptical of the extension, but I think you've made a really strong case for why it's in our best interest to do that. And I really appreciate the thought that's going into this. And I think that the request I would then have as a follow-up would be some sense next meeting of the timeline, because I think the public output you want to, or public input, the process I think is excellent. I think it's exactly what we need. I'm really excited about the vision and the goal here of really bringing the community together on this. And I think one of the ways we can support that is, by helping have a timeline, have a process, have public conversation as part of this committee, but also help, figure out how we can work with you to make that happen. So I would love to see that. And like I said, you've convinced me. I think this makes a lot of sense as a way to then do a real overhaul, hopefully for next year, because I don't want to continue on I flagged before and I will flag again. I think the South Norwalk School is going to raise issues about wind wastes Meadow Street transfer station. So I think there's going to be a lot of factors that need to be considered. And I think it makes a lot of sense to have time to do it in a very comprehensive way. So thank you to both of you for being so thoughtful about this.
Thank you, Nora. Mr. Meek.
Thanks. I too appreciate the homework that you're going to do on this. The things that make me skeptical, I don't understand the rebranding. I don't understand who pays for that. Wind waste is not even registered on the Secretary of State's website. City Carding is, as a foreign entity out of New Hampshire. I'm going back to, Eversource, kind of unrelated, but somewhat related. Got a rate increase of $55 million to repaint their trucks from CLMP to Eversource, and ratepayers pay for that. So we're going to end up paying for their rebranding. That gives me pause. Maybe they just got to tighten up their paperwork over here. I always get skeptical. ValueJet rebranding to AirTrans, I understand. Like, do we know why they're doing this rebranding? Who's paying for painting all the new dumpsters, the trucks? Is that going to come over to us in price increases? Just a lot of questions I have around that. It doesn't really make any sense to me why they would change names here. And, if we could try to not pay for that, that would make me happy.
But Wind Waste was bought, City Carding was bought by Wind Waste. I don't know if all of the holdings and the name changes have occurred. I can't speak on that, but I can tell you that Wind Waste bought City Carding, and that hence the rebranding.
Thanks. They should do in contract with a public entity here. They should register with the state of Connecticut Secretary of State.
Well, Mr. Meek, the good thing is that, again, when after approval, this all goes to legal, and legal has to work everything with them, and that's all the requirements that you need to fulfill before a contract is signed. And again, that's one more reason why I'm in front of you in December, because I know that with this back and forth, we may lose another month or 2 months until we have a contract in place.
Thanks for doing your due diligence on it and for answering my questions that you could hear.
Are there any other questions or comments? Yeah, I also would like to thank you, Vanessa and Chris, for all of the work that you have done on this, and really for explaining it so well. And I do think that you deserve the opportunity to do your very best here. You're just coming into this position just a couple of months ago, and this will allow you the time to do that. And as Tom referred to, we'll have the, garbage and recycling czar hired soon, we hope. And that person's contribution to this discussion will be really, really important. And, I'm thinking back to, Ms. Lauricella numerous times has talked to us about reduce, reusing, and we're going to need that garbage and recycling czar to really help educate the public on that, because, recycling has become so complicated. So I really support moving this extension forward. I think it's important to allow the team the time to make the right decisions. So unless there are any other comments or questions, I'll call for a vote. All right. Okay. Mr. Livingston's voting. All in favor? Okay. Opposed?
Thought you were calling for a vote.
Abstentions?
Thank you so much.
I did. Okay. All right. Thanks, Vanessa. Okay, so that passes unanimously, and we will move on now to information and discussion, starting with the snowplow name contest. Chris, you're going to tell us about that? What great names.
I have to do this.
Well, we can just, so we.
I'm
can
not sure I
do
can
this.
make it through this without laughing. Route number 1, which is the hospital, Pillsbury Plowboy. Route number 2, Hippopotamus. Route number 3, Dark Blader. Route number 4, Blizzard of Oz. Route number 5, Scoop Dog. Route number 6, No Big Deal. Route number 7, Say It Ain't Snow. Route number 8, Not Snow Fast. Route number 9, Royal Flush. Route number 10, Sled Zeppelin. Route number 11, Luke Snowwalker. Route number 12, Blizzard Wizard. Route number 13, Jennifer Snowpez. Can we check with legal on that one? Route number 14, Plowabunga. Route number 15, No Problemo. Route number 16, Mr. Snowtastic. Route number 17, Buzz Ice Clear. Route number 18, Sir Plows a Lot. 19, Catch My Drift. 20, Every Day I Am Shoveling. That is awesome. Route 21, Winter Warrior. Route 22, Frostbite. 23, Snow Worries. Good one. Route 24, Snow Crusher. 25, Ice Force 1. Route 26, Cloudy Duty. That is it.
And we already put the names on the trucks. The mayor helped and put on his route. It was on the social media. So now if you guys look, the names are in the back. The other day I was coming to the city hall and I have hippopotamus, that's the hardest one, right in front of me. So it was cute. So let's see. We'll have to come up with something different next year. But I'm really hoping that naming the snow trucks, we're not gonna get any snow. That's really what I'm hoping.
Well, it's a lot of fun.
It
But
really
thank you
is.
everybody that participated. We have over 500 people that voted, what is great.
Excellent. Yeah, very entertaining. I like have these images of you all sitting in the airport coming up with these names. You must have had a blast. Very,
was
very,
fun.
very cute and great. It's just a great way to engage the public. Very fun.
Was Chris
Okay,
idea.
so excuse me. Moving on to tree operations and programming.
Okay, so I will do the bad news of removals. Parks property, we had 2 removals of Bradford, Pear, and Maple. School property, 0 removed. In the city right of way, 12 trees removed. 3 maple, 2 oak, 2 ash, and 5 pine. A lot of the pines were that day that we had the high winds and the rain. With stuff like that, so it wasn't, and I'm still pretty sure when I come to you guys at your first meeting next year that I am gonna give you a report. Me and Paul, that we planted more trees than we removed last year, 2022. So we're working on that, so stay tuned. Safety pruning, 1 oak on Parks property, 8 trees pruned on the city right away, 1 pine, 1 tulip, 1 cherry, 1 oak, and 2 maples.
Paul, do you want to go with?
That's it?
Paul will give you the good news.
Yeah, the good news.
Here's the good.
Give, give you the good news for the fall planting program. We planted 230 trees. And that brings us for the calendar year for 2022 to 401 total trees planted.
Right.
Well done. That's a record, isn't it?
Great job.
That's
Yeah.
a record, definitely.
Wow.
Terrific. Terrific. Great work, Paul and Chris. Thank
Yeah.
you. Any questions, comments? Okay. All right, let's move on to the monthly solid waste report. And then we can just go right into the food scrap.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, so the curbside tonnage, which is collected on the street, was up 15.4 from last year, October to this year. The tonnage out was up 10.4. That's that. Recycling is up 2.8% from the collection on the curbside and up 19.2 at the transfer station. Again, to me, that's good news that people are bringing it. It shows me that people are still not going back to work 100%. At least I know in my building, the parking lot's always full, so a lot of people are still working from home, believe it or not. Again, something that we want to look out for our next contract is trends and maybe get some analysis, some analytics in to help us out. So you can read along at home, you have it in your packet. And the boot scrap is always good because anything is better than what we had 2 years ago with nothing. We are for last month, 58% at the transfer station, 52%. So,
3-2.
I know, but it's 57. 58% at the transfer station, 43, 42 at the Roehampton. So we beat you guys.
And now we have a third side.
And we have a third site now, so we have a leverage a little bit.
So the third side is not, those numbers are not there yet. I think that we started the collection last week. So Cranberry Park already has one. As soon as you go in, you continue through the main entrance, you pass the mansion, and then passing a little bit the parking lot, there is a dumpster there on a pad. So I believe that there's also a sign that we put in. So hopefully we're gonna start getting, it will be slow in the beginning, but we know that the numbers will gonna start building. We're gonna report on that as soon as we receive the first month report.
That's right, we're gonna start crushing Roehampton.
Good news in my book. The more
Yes,
people
right.
you collect, the better.
Yep.
I don't
Yeah,
care where you
absolutely.
Collect it. I'm happy
Absolutely.
to work out with the pumpkins this year because, you know, it's always really crazy in November and early December.
No problems.
No problems. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions? Any more? No, okay. All right, so let us move on to the projects. I'm gonna turn my page. Okay, so current projects, construction and advertising for bids.
So I don't know if you guys really need like some updates on this. I think that, to be honest, we're pretty much wrapping up the season. The asphalt plants will close next week. So we're finishing paving. Flex Hill is our last street to be paved this year. I'm happy to report that we finished the whole Center Avenue, Ohio, Plymouth area. We're gonna have a press release next week on there. That was a fantastic project that we did between the utilities, drainage, sidewalk and paving. We finished that, we paved last week. Besides that, pretty much most of the projects are wrapping up. The only exception is the Dreamy Hollow drainage. We're hoping that we can continue construction throughout the winter if weather help us. But besides that, we're really just kind of pretty much finalizing everything punch list. In our next meetings, I'm gonna provide some metrics of what we did this year. The numbers are very good. You're gonna see how many miles of street we paved, how much sidewalk we did, how many length of pipe we were able to do, how many plan reviews. So I don't know if you guys need anything more in detail about a specific project. But because we're wrapping up, I don't think I need to give you like a monthly report because there is not really much report in regards to the month of December now.
Anyone need anything on a specific project? No? Okay. All right, I think we're all set then.
Okay, good.
Oh, design? Is there anything you wanted to
Yeah, it
touch
doesn't
upon
change.
regarding
I usually-
design?
It is the same ones that we had since last month. We don't have anything.
Yeah, okay.
Different. So it's just moving the order. So you guys can have there what we have been working on recently.
Okay. All right, anyone have any final questions? All right, well, I will end by saying, hope everyone has happy holidays. I know I will see my council people before the holidays, but anyone else, please enjoy the holidays. And I will call for a motion to adjourn. Miss Shanahan was first. You're pretty quick, Lisa. All right, all in favor?
Barbara.
All in favor?
Barbara,
Happy
go get some,
holidays,
go get some
everyone.
rest, Barbara.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I do need some sleep though, for sure. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good night.
Happy
everyone.
holidays.
Thank you.
Bob.
Happy holidays.
Happy holiday.